Today is the first day of spring, March 20th, 2026. 19 days since I first started my seedlings, and let's check out how they are. All right. Got the cherry tomatoes, the beefsteaks, and the jalapenos going very strong. Transplanted some of the Roma tomatoes. I'm just doing a little experiment here. So I didn't add any water to the Jiffy starting mix, and I add water to this one. So yeah, just this little small experiment here and there. And over here on my Rutgers, again, little experiment. No water to the Jiffy starting mix, added water to this. They look very similar, so not too sure where I'm going with this. Unfortunately, my sweet bell peppers are not growing. I think the seeds that I got are pretty bad. Same goes with my cayenne peppers. Nothing is growing from the cells. So I may have to just dump the soil and restart. You guys see these little roots coming from the bottom? That means I had to start transplanting these into a bigger pot. They're pretty tall as well. They're doing pretty well. I'm excited, but this is a big sign. They need some room, so we're gonna have to transplant these into a bigger pot. What I am going to do, I'm gonna use this garden soil, this perlite, and vermiculite. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of the Jiffy starting mix as well, because it has cocoa cure, which I really like, you know, and it has some organic materials in there too. I have a sifter and a pot. The reason for this is that when I use the garden soil, I'm going to have a lot of like rocks and like a lot of clunkiness. So I don't like that, because all that stuff is gonna compact my soil and it's gonna prevent the roots from growing further. So I had the sifter so I can get the soil a little bit more loose. That way the plants can grow strong and healthy. I'm just going to, just grab a good amount of soil here. Of course, I'm going to scoop a lot more. Just like that. Sift it around, and this pot, it's a little bit bigger than the sifter, so I have to be careful of stuff coming off from the side. All right, and see these rocks, or I don't know, soil that turned into rocks. And probably like some wooden pieces here. This is the reason why I have a sifter. Yeah, so when you buy these garden soils, be very wary with them, because I mean, look at all this. You're putting these into your raised beds. Okay, some of them, you know, they're just a little bit compact, so you can break them up. But the reason for the sifter is that you can take out, I think these are like little pieces of mulch or whatever it is. This is kind of soft, so I'm not too sure. But I did find some rocks in here, and I don't want that. Let's see where I can find one. Hey, look, there's a rock. Yeah. Trash. Also, you don't want these chunks of soil. That's why you gotta break them apart. Look at this drone. Definitely a rock. See the little shine? That's a whole rock or pebble. I mean, this should not be in here. I mean, it's a piece of like fabric. Should not be in there. That's why even though you buy them and you know they're listing it as organic materials, you know they're not always perfect. That's why you gotta sift there, sort all these little pieces of unnecessary stuff that's gonna be going into your garden. All right, got some good soil now. It's nice and loose. Now we're going to add some perlite and vermiculite. Just be very careful with the perlite. It's very loose and light and dusty, so sprinkle on top. Sprinkle a lot actually, because it's a big soil. See all the dust that's flying around? Yeah, I mean, unless you want to breathe it in, just be careful with them. That's all. Mix them around. Try to go from the bottom. Next, some vermiculite. Just pour it on. Not too much, just enough. And mix them up. Then I'm gonna take a couple handful of the Jiffy starting mix. The reason why I'm doing this because it has cocoa cure, which is like good organic materials for the seedlings. And just continue to mix them up. Add to my secret ingredient, used coffee grounds. Yes, you hear that right. They're very good because they're organic materials and it gives up a lot of nutrients. The reason why I'm using used coffee grounds into my soil because one, it can deter pests because of, I'm assuming, the smell. And it also provides a lot of organic nutrients, such as nitrogen, which is good for the tomatoes and your peppers. So these are the tomatoes that I'm going to start transplanting. Now I'm probably going to take the longest ones. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and probably 5, 6. I'm gonna put them in a large pot. And these smaller ones here, I'm probably gonna use like the red solo cups. Alright, so I'm going to use this large pot for the strongest tomato I have here. Okay? Look, it's already labeled. Cherry Toms. Just so you don't know, it's short for tomatoes. I'm not filling this all the way to the brim. So just at halfway. All right. And then I'm going to take the tomatoes. I have to be very careful with the cell here. It has 3 of them in there. So good thing about these Vago garden, I hope I can just push it up. Oh, there you go. I hope I can just push it up and voila. Look at, oh no, please don't die. Here we go. There we go. You gotta break them apart, okay? But very slowly doing it. You don't want to put too much pressure. Just slightly break them apart. Good thing I have this big pot here so they can just simply lay on top of it. Alright, so here we go. Now, I'm going to put this guy right here into the big pot. Just like that. I'm going to hold up like this. And I'm simply just going to take the soil and bury him. I'm not compacting anything down. I'm trying to get the soil as loose
as I can. Okay, just trying to get it even out a little bit. And there you go. The first transplant of the year. My precious cherry tomatoes. So, of course, you just gotta water it. And make sure the pot has good drainage on the bottom. Because the last thing you want to do is have the soil completely compact with water, and that's how you're going to get root rot. Now, because this one tomato is a lot smaller, I'm going to put it in a smaller pot. Don't worry, I really don't have to transplant this ever again because I feel like it's large enough. Now, I'm only use certain ones in the bigger pot because obviously it's a lot bigger. It's already have grown so much. So if I were to put this big plant into the smaller pot, by the time it's time to transplant, like I'm gonna have issues because it doesn't have enough room to grow. So it's obvious. The smaller one, by the time it's transplant outdoors, should be enough time. This big one in here is not going to have enough time. It's just pretty much straightforward. So again, I'm not putting too much, just slightly halfway. Then I'm going to put the guy, I'm going to have him standing up a little bit like this. Then I'm just going to bury him. Just like that. Just trying to make it even and try to get it to be center. I'm going to bury it up to the first set of leaves, which is like probably up there. And of course, water it. That's it. Well, I am experimenting again. These cherry tomatoes that are in the pots, I water them. As you can see, they're wet. Okay. They're labeled as wet. That means I water them. These, I labeled them as dry, meaning that I didn't put any water in the soil whatsoever. So what I am hoping is that these are going to die. Again, just experimenting. I think I have enough cherry tomatoes to do a little experimentation. I feel like these soils are wet enough because when I was like planting them in a pot and they're like, they're not dry at all. So I'm like thinking maybe I should just plant them the way it is. And these, I'm just gonna add water to see if they grow better than the others, or vice versa. So, all right, they're all transplanted. Hopefully, well, I'm confident that I'm gonna get some good plants within like the next month. So some will die, some will continue to survive, and by that time, around, I'd say mid-May, when it's actually time to transplant these plants outdoors, we're gonna have some really good time this year. So again, thanks for watching. Deuce.